Hi, sweeties. Welcome to our first episode on Live True Sweetie. And today we have a special guest with us today, and his name is Chikodi. And Chikot, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi guys, first of all, thank you for inviting me and it's a pleasure to be
You're
here.
welcome.
So my name's Peter Chikode Okoro and I'm from Nigeria, Ebonyi State and yeah, I'm an environmentalist and also a travel specialist.
Well, welcome to our show, Chika. And
Thank you.
today's show is really an interesting one because we're talking about like new beginnings, manhood, relocation as a person, and just the heart of man as well. So,
Interesting.
we're gonna have like some warm up questions for you today. So, our first warm up question will be, what's one thing you wish people knew about you before we even start this conversation?
Well, thank you for that. I would say I'm a very interesting person. A lot of people may have this misconception that I could be quiet, but I can be very interesting and also a disciplinarian. I can be no nonsense as well. So,
Period. Okay, so as your friend, I already know like you're a very cool person, like
yeah,
you're a very sweet person. You're like you show up for your friends and you're good at heart. So
yeah.
that's one thing I could tell you guys about him. So
Thank you.
if you had to describe the past year in one word, what would it be?
Yeah, and the last 365 days has been a very challenging one for me. Very one of the most challenging years for me in recent times, but also one in which I accomplished significant milestones and also learned a lot of lessons. I would say the last 365 is one of my most difficult, but also one of my best because I took up challenges this year. I learned new lessons that helped me, that shaped me, shaped who I am, and it's something that I'm proud of. And I would say it's one of my uh, best and worst years at the same time. But I'm taking the positive from it, though.
I can for sure say this is one of your best years because you actually started your business and like he started like a travel business where like he handles your travel. So if you know you want to travel, like go to him.
Anywhere in Africa.
Yeah, his business is called Ecotra, and like you guys should go check it out. It's a really good one. Okay, so how would you describe where you are right now in life?
Yeah, I would say that obviously I'm not where I want to be, but I'm taking it one step at a time. I would say I am at a point in my life where I am happy with the foundation that I've laid based on the goals that I want to achieve. I mean,
That's a
I haven't
beautiful
gotten
thing.
there,
Yeah.
but I can see the destination already. I can see the finish line. It's just all about keeping up with the discipline that is going to take me there, keeping up with the work rate, keeping my focus, keeping my
Yeah.
heads up and all that. So I would say like where I'm at in life is where I can confidently say that yes, I know how to get there. It's just the consistency that I need to get me to that point.
Yeah.
But obviously, I don't have to be comfortable or satisfied. I have to always want more. I have to always push for
Yeah.
to get more, and that is where I would say like I am now, and I want to keep striving to continue the journey.
Yeah. One thing I always tell people is like the beginning of the journey is always rocky. Like
Yeah.
you don't expect like you want this and then automatically you're getting that. That's
Yes.
totally impossible. Like
Yeah.
even when Jesus Christ came and died on the cross of Calvary, he didn't just like go and
Yes.
do what he's meant to do. It took a
He started.
process.
Yeah.
Everything is a process. So in life, always remember like there's a process to things.
True. True.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay. So walk me through your move. Like what surprised you most when you settled in? Because like you moved from Nigeria to Japan, if I'm correct.
China.
China, okay.
Yeah.
To China and then you moved to the United States. Like
Yeah.
how was like that transition for you? Like I'm sure it was really stressful, you know?
Oh yeah, it's just a stressful one. I love talking about my transition because when I think about it, I always ask myself, well, how did I even do it? How did I pull that stunt? I would say that first of all, you use the word settling in. I wouldn't say that I have settled in here in the United States. I would say that yes, I know what I want to achieve here in terms of the so-called American dream. But I would say that from moving from Nigeria to China and from China to the US, this is three different countries, three different societal systems, three different governments and everything. But I would say settling in the US has been an amazing one for me in the
That's
sense
awesome.
that learning the American way, because America is a country that, things are different here than every part of the world. Like from our SI units here, Fahrenheit, pounds, all these things. So settling in here has been an interesting one. That's also been one that I've liked, learning about the American people, the cultures here, how they do things here, meeting new people. I met a whole new cycle of friends than what I had in China
Yeah.
and what I've had in Nigeria, all these years. In fact, in recent time, I've lost contact with a lot of friends in Nigeria. So, it's the new community I've made here that's made me settling in. Not settled in 100%, but I would say settling in, and it's been an amazing one so far.
I feel like one of the biggest things of like moving is like you're like, oh, who am I gonna meet?
Yes.
Am I gonna like meet people that were awesome to me back home or where I'm coming from, And like having to go to a place where you don't know nobody, it's
Nobody,
really
yeah.
difficult.
Very
Like
difficult.
that transition it's a lot. So
Yeah, having to deal with. I've been talking about having a new community because in China, you wouldn't believe when I went to that country, I knew nobody, absolutely nobody. This was a country that didn't speak English. They don't speak English there. They are not religious. I'm a Christian, So having to go about all of that whole new system, whole new life, whole new everything it was chaos at some point. But in the case of the US, I didn't have to stress myself to adapt.
yeah.
I mean, there weren't much changes than what I was used to in Nigeria already. There's already an English-speaking country, practice democracy here. It's a Christian country to an extent, or to the majority extent. So I would say like there's been a whole new awesome one, but there are still some other aspects to settling here that that was a tough one for me. I wouldn't want to go into.
Even the Nigerian culture,
Yeah.
the food.
Oh yeah.
That was a good one. So what did relocation teach you about starting over?
That is a good one. Like I always tell my peers, especially those who always have this skepticism about relocation. The relocation taught me a lot of things, but one of the main lessons I learned about relocation is having to learn more, because I'm not somebody that likes to stay in my comfort zone, and where I'm used to, I've seen the same people every day doing the same things, going to the same events and all that.
Yeah.
That is not the kind of life I want. I've always been. I'm nomadic by nature. I like to move around. Even in the US here, I always like to change states and all that. So I would say relocation taught me. It made me understand that learning new things is necessary for us as humans.
Yeah.
And I have done relocation several times in my life, and it's something that I always recommend for those who want to take on new challenges, who want to have new experiences, who want to experience life in a different perspective and in a different view, because the world you see in Nigeria, the world you see in China, the world you see in Japan, the world you see anywhere is different from what you will see in the new place you're going to go. So relocation has really shaped my mind in the way I see people, in the way I see cultures, in the way I see countries, in the way I see cities. I always look forward to that new journey. So I'm never afraid of starting over again. In fact, it's always something I want to do. To start over. And what's the next journey for me? What's the next adventure for me?
Oh, you sound like a very adventurous person.
Oh yeah.
That's really
I could
good.
be.
I'm really happy that you feel like confident and like starting over, which is a really good thing because it's more like boosting your self-confidence.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, now we're going to move this into a more tricky, part of this conversation. So we're going to move into like living as a black man, right?
Okay.
So when did you first realize that you're a black man?
Okay.
And how did that shape the world and the response to the world that you had?
Yeah. First of all, I'm proud of my roots. I'm proud of an African. I'm a proud Igbo man. I don't I don't owe anybody any apology or for being who I am. And as an African man who grew up in Africa, who grew up in Nigeria, right? I never really believed that I was different from anybody, or
Yeah.
like knew or had an in-depth idea of what racism was. So I mean, we watched Hollywood movies. We knew that there was I knew there was a thing like this,
Yeah.
but the first time it caught my attention that, or that I knew that, hey, as a black person or as someone from another race, you could be treated differently from another person. The
Yeah.
first time it dawned on me was when I moved to China.
Okay.
So China is a whole different world on its own. When you talk about racism and maybe how people may treat you, stuff like that. So when my first experience of this was, because in China, right, most of the jobs there for foreigners are teaching jobs. Like you gotta teach English to
Yeah.
kids, kindergarten, high school kids, and all that. I would say that having to apply for these jobs, having to teach in the schools, you will get a different reaction from your peers, from your co-workers, from the parents of the kids. But applying to this job is what actually taught me, or actually exposed me to the scenario that, hey, you're an African.
Yeah.
The fact that you're an African is different from the treatment you would get if you were from another race.
Yeah.
So that was my first experience with, or my first closeness to what racism was like. And living in China, this is just one aspect. There's over 100 more aspects that I encountered that, but this is the first. This is the first major instance that made me know that, hey, living as an African or a black man in any society can be tricky at times.
Yeah. Well, that's really tricky because, like, for me, the first time I actually realized that I was a black woman was when I went to the UK to go see my dad, and it was kind of tricky for me to see, like, me being racialized at just a little age, because I was like 5 years old,
Wow.
and I was told
That's
not
sad.
to play with the white girl
White
who was
kid.
there. So it was it was kind of tricky for me, but yeah, like going through that like also shapes like how you
Yeah.
think, and your response to it is what matters, because
True,
if
true.
you respond in a horrible way, that's not good for you.
Yeah.
So what are your expectations, and how do you feel like from society versus the expectations you place on yourself?
Yeah. That's a good question, especially coming from a typical African setting. There's societal pressures, right? There is societal expectation. It could be family, it could be from your co-workers, your colleagues, and all that. I would say, personally, I'll speak for myself. I've laid out a set of targets for myself, and I have a pace to which I take on these steps or these procedures in my life. So I would say that for how I place these two things is that society is always going to be society. Society is always going to tell you, oh, this is what a young man should do at this age. Oh, this is what women should do. You should do this and this to accomplish this. There's always going to be societal rules. But I play by my own rules, and everyone should play by their own rules. So the way I see it is that the society is not going to live my life for me. It's my destiny. It's my own life. So I try to ensure that I work with my own timing. I work with my own vision, the way I see things, the way I see life, where I want to go, how I want to do things, versus the way society has already programmed it. Oh, you're from Nigeria. Oh, you are so and so age. You have to get things done at so and so age. Those things are all gonna be there. But and this is why a lot of people deviate in life or fail, because they followed what a programmed system recommended to them, which was not supposed to be the case in the first place. So in my own opinion, or in the way I see things, my ideology about life, I believe I should do my things my own way.
Yeah.
That only my own way can work for me, not what the society or any person
No.
dictates. Yeah.
That's a really good one. So, like, as a black man, what do you wish, like, the society gave you, like, a permission to do?
Permission. I would just say that's a good one. I would say the permission to be me. Don't make rules.
Yeah.
Like, there are some things like I mean, good thing that we're not living in the era of I mean, there's still racism now. There is still some form of discrimination, but it's not as bad as it was probably in the 80s or in the 60s.
Yeah.
But I would say permission to be myself. You know,
Yeah.
one thing, like, I'm human. We are all human, um, irrespective of of your ethnicity or nationality or whatever. Red blood runs in all of us. You know,
Yeah.
so permission to be myself,
Yeah.
permission to grow, permission to do what I can. You know, under the law. You know, so this is just one thing. I love being myself. So that is one thing I've always thought of for myself.
So as a man, what's what the hardest emotion for you to express and why?
Hmm. The hardest emotion for me to express is like, I would say, an emotion of disappointment, or a feeling of disappointment, if I'm to put it that way. Usually, when I get disappointed by people, you know, I tend to always show it aside and like, okay, it happened. It's people. I've learned, if there's one lesson I've learned over the years that I taught myself or people have taught me, is the lesson of people will always be people. Humans will be humans, you know.
Yeah.
Have less expectations on people. So the emotion of showing disappointment is something that is usually kind of difficult for me to show. You know, so when people disappoint me, a lot of times I will not tell them. I just leave it that way. I move on. I may not have necessarily forgotten or maybe 100% forgave that person, but it's just something like, at the end of the day, they are just humans. They did what they had to do. They did what they did to me, or something like that. So that feeling or emotion of showing disappointment is one that is, I would say, is like the toughest for me to show.
Well, I was watching what's the name of the series, Scandal,
Okay.
and you know it's like an old show, but like this is my first time I'm watching it.
Yeah.
So the first episode really struck into me,
Okay.
where a congressman had an issue where his so-called girlfriend or assumed girlfriend
Okay.
was killed, right? And he was the first suspect. And this man, right, he's a congressman. He also takes himself like as a Christian because
Right.
he gives that impression to the society that, oh, I follow the Christian norms.
Yeah.
And also he was also against LGBTQ, right?
Oh.
And then a funny thing happened that the only way that he could be like removed as a suspect from
Yeah.
that case was if he could open to the world that he was gay. Because he was gay and the night of the murder he was with his gay partner. And this man chose to go to jail. And
Wow.
instead of going to like tell the world that, oh, I'm gay.
Yeah.
You know? So what do you think about that? Like what do you think was like the reason that he made that decision? Is it like what do you think? Tell us.
I would say in that situation, the fact that you say he had to go to jail than than to admit that he was gay. That means that he had fallen for he had fallen for the societal blackmail. Let me put it that way. Now he doesn't want to be who he was. You know. Now he didn't want to. Now he didn't know how to live with the stigma. Let me put it that way. So the fear of that stigma was what made him to say, okay, I rather go to jail than do what.
But it was really disappointing to see that this man, right?
Yeah.
He was publicly against LGBT.
Okay.
Right.
But
And-
he was
but he was
gay behind
right,
the scenes.
Behind the scenes, and
Yeah.
then he had a whole girlfriend just to cover up like him being gay because like he's in Congress. Like
Yeah.
questions will be asked. Okay, where's your wife? Where's
Yes,
your
yes.
fiance and all of that? But he chose to like publicly bash the LGBTQ community, and he was gay behind the scenes.
behind the scenes,
Like,
yeah.
That's literally him not living well and living true to himself.
True. Yeah.
Which is like
He's not proud of who he was. He wasn't
yeah.
proud. So he's just that the fear of that stigma.
The stigma.
The stigma. That's people have phobia for stigma. Some people like, oh, I don't care what people think about me. There are people who are like that. I don't care what Adana says or thinks about me. The other people are like, we call it like they say saving face. There are people that want to save their face. So that saving face is serious to a lot of people. So that that feeling of like, what will she say? What will people say if they know about this thing?
Yeah.
Whereas compared to another person, like, who cares? Like, I don't, So yeah, that fear of stigma.
Yeah, that's really sad. Like to see people like in this modern day and age, like you bash something, but then you're doing it. It's like really sad to see that happen in the world.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like everyone should live true and live well. Like be true to
Absolutely.
yourself. Be who you want to be.
Be authentic.
Be authentic to yourself. Don't go behind and be doing something else, and then you're coming in the front and you're doing something else.
Like Osofia always said in the famous movie, talk to me directly, don't go
Don't
through the
go through the
corners.
corners at all, period.
So in this, we are trying to tell you, don't go through the corners in
Don't go
anything you
through the
do.
corners. Like, do what you want to do, be who you want to be. Yeah. Okay. So what's one relationship lesson you have learned the hard way? Because I don't like you as a guy. Like you guys are like. You guys have gone through relationships. So like, what's that one thing that you've learned and you learned it the hard way? You know how we say
The
hard
very
way.
hard way, you know.
So yeah, what's that one thing?
I would say one relationship lesson that I learned the really hard way is that I think I had talked about it slightly a little bit. It's just the aspect of having less expectations on people. Now, in the aspect of relationship, right? I'm going to talk based on romantic setting and just the regular setting. You know, if you want to save yourself from hurt or from disappointment, you know, have less expectations on people. It doesn't mean you don't love this person. It doesn't mean you don't care about this person. It doesn't mean you cannot go to the end of the world for this person. It just means that you have come to terms that this person is still a human being. This person is not God. This person can still disappoint. This person can still hurt you. Can still step on your toes, you know. So one harsh lesson I learned the hard way is that there is nobody. What I mean, there is nobody who cannot hurt you. No matter how you think that person loves you or you love that person, there's nobody who cannot hurt you. So when you come to that terms, you would save yourself from a lot of heartbreak and disappointment. So I would say like that is one harsh lesson I've learned, that know at the back of your mind that human beings will always be human beings, and there is always that tendency for a disappointment. So have less expectations is one thing I would say is it's a harsh lesson for me.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that people don't really like savor into their mind, because like you like this person, you see them, you want to like date them, and then you just go in, but you're not thinking, oh, this person, like I don't really know you.
It's
like,
just in your head.
It's just in your head, like there's like a bubble.
Yes.
Well, that was
like
a really
they call
good
it the Lulu delusion.
period. So what does, you know how I've seen people, like, even me as a person, like, I've seen people who are like, oh, they're not emotionally available.
Yeah.
And I feel like, what do you mean by not emotionally available? So can you, like, as a guy, tell us, like, what it means to be emotionally available? Like,
Well, to me, what it means is I'm unavailable. They know they see me.
okay.
To be, well, I would say that word emotionally unavailable, I would just say it's just people who are being cruel. Because why are you emotionally available to somebody that you claim to be attracted to, maybe romantically, or you claim to like, and you are in quotes emotionally available? So that is a word that people who are cruel tend to hide behind. But this is my own definition of it. People who are emotionally available is just people who don't have any regard for their partners, you know. That was what you asked, right?
Emotionally available or emotionally unavailable?
Sorry, emotionally unavailable.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just people who are just who don't show any regard, you know. It could be romantic wise, intimacy, or stuff like that. So pretty much so, it's just a term for people who want to be cruel to their partners. You know, you don't show as much care. A partner is supposed to have comfort in you. It's supposed to place you as their safe space, as their happy space, you know. And
so
you are in
as a person, like, how do you see yourself being emotionally available? Like, what are the things that you portray if you
for
were
emotional availability,
Yeah.
right? It's just to, you know, I love spending quality time, you know, to spend quality time with this person, you know, especially as a guy that I am. Ladies love attention, you know. It could be, it doesn't necessarily have to be dates. It could just be like a phone call, you know, checking up on you, sending you videos, sending her videos and all that. So emotional availability for me means, you know, spending quality time with this person, whether physical or virtual, giving her the required assistance, being there as I'm someone that loves helping people. It may not necessarily be my romantic partner, but let's say if in a romantic partner sense, just being there for her in terms of what she needs. Could be assistance or work at school, being there for her emotionally, when she wants to, when she needs help with anything. It could be venting, it could be needing my advice. I can be there to give the a mature advice where it's needed. The ability to guide, the ability to lead, the ability to be there when there is nobody for her is emotional availability for me.
I hear people say, like, if a man tells you who he is,
Yeah.
believe him once. Don't wait for the second time for you to believe it. So what,
Right.
what do you think about that saying?
Yeah, I would say that it's true to an extent, right? But usually, action speaks louder than words. So people will show you themselves in one way or the other.
Yeah.
Most of the time, like I always tell people, I'm somebody that believes 10% of what some people tell me, 90% of action. If you tell me, oh, I really like you, okay, I'll say yes. I know you like me. That's 10%. You have to now show it in 90%. So the thing, so that's the thing, yeah, So it's people actions don't lie. No matter how I know people pretend, but somewhere you will see the sign, you will see it. So I will agree with that. In some way too, I will not agree with it, but majority of the time it's correct.
So what has helped you most to build like emotional awareness?
Emotional awareness. It's just what has helped me the most. You've been in a romantic setting.
Both in a romantic, every setting.
Okay. What has helped me in building emotional awareness is just mainly based on how people treat me. The times or the ways in which people have showed up for me, or the way people have treated me in certain instances, in certain times. Yeah. So I pay close attention to these treatments. I'll pay close attention to what I mean to people, what people mean to me. So that was that over the years, especially ever since I became an adult, ever since I became conscious of how these things play out. So the treatment from people has helped me be more aware emotionally, how to guard my feelings, how to guard their own feelings, So how I also treat people as well, how people react to what I tell them or what I do to them and all that, it has also shaped how aware I am. Like, okay, this is how you should talk. This is what this person finds sensitive, So how you treat people and how they feel around you has helped. It has shaped me. It matters a lot, and it also shaped how I've said, okay, yeah, this is how I should be conscious, emotional. This is what I should do and what not to do.
Yeah. So as a man, like, what do you wish like women like understood about men's mental health?
Good question. A lot of ladies get this part wrong, but I would say that what women should understand about men's mental health is that as a man, or as men, we fight secret battles every day. Secret battles within ourselves, from the society, from family, from everything, And I mean, the battles that for a woman, right, as a lady, definitely, let's say you have a problem, something could be going on in your life.
Yeah.
There is always that one guy friend. It's not peculiar in every case, but at least most cases, it's easier for the battles that ladies fight could be more visual. It does not mean that as Adana you don't have secret battles, no, but at least you have the courage to say you can pick up the phone and call me, hey chick, I'm going through this. What do you think about this situation? It will be easier for you.
Yeah.
But as a man that I am, especially in this current society, it's gonna be tough for me to pick up the phone and call Adana like, hey Adana, this and this is going on. Unless I'm venting to you, how would you feel if I call you to vent to you?
I feel like I'll listen, but like you say tough. Like what
Tough.
makes it tough?
What makes it tough? What makes it tough, and this is where that your question comes in, is tough because these secret battles is something that all of us deal with, and the fact that it's tough, it's difficult for us to share a lot of these battles that we are fighting, right? An average man does not know who to talk to in terms of problem. According to psychological researches here and there, an average man does not know who to talk to when he's in trouble or when he's in one sort of issue or the other, So this is one part of men's mental health that a lot of women do not know. You could see him smiling every day. You could see him in the club, drinking, partying, and having fun. The moment he leaves that place and goes to his car, he's already on his steering wheel. The moment he goes home, he cannot sleep. These are things that nobody sees,
So do you think like shame is one of the things that like make it
Shame and society. Yeah.
so like you're looking based off like what would the society think about this
Yes.
situation?
The society has made them, the men, to believe that hey, you will be deemed weak if you share your struggles with somebody else. It's also from society. It's also from the part of shame, and it's also the from the aspect of who would listen to you. If I have there's some certain problems I'll have now. Who do I have to share the stories with? Who would pay attention to that? Because at the end of the day, you're on your own. I always tell people in this life, everybody's on their own.
So do you think like if you go to therapy, is that like something you won't do or something? Like what do you think about therapy as a man?
The Igbo man in me, the Igbo man in me is really who is even well for me, right? I've growing up, I never really believed in therapy, but my mindset have started changing towards it. But I would say that therapy is needed, definitely, right? Especially with especially with the lessons we've been learning about mental health, right? But personally, I find it difficult to I find it difficult to come to the terms that I can go and sit one-on-one with someone and share my struggles with this person or share what I'm going through with this person, and this person can actually help me. I don't know. It's just a meeting, I'm not speaking for anybody. It's a meeting, but I believe that what my family or close allies cannot help me with, I don't think that person I'm going to pay money would help me. I don't know if that makes sense. I heard yes, they know what they do, but to be honest, I would just say I think that therapy is good for who it's good for. It just depends on the situation and what you make of it.
I feel therapy is really helpful and insightful because sometimes we are already quick to like say no, this is not gonna help you.
Yeah.
But sometimes we should like give it a try and see what is gonna yield into our lives because you really never know who you meet. The therapist you might meet might be the best therapist for you. So it's not like something you should say no to quick. It's something like you should give it a try.
Give it a try
before you like say no to it. But this is a very insightful conversation. So like as an individual, like what are you most proud of right now?
A lot actually, but one of the things that I'm most proud of at this stage of my life that I am now is the fact that I am not afraid to take bold decisions or to take bold steps. And something that I always if no one pats my back for, I always try to to pat my hand on my back and be like, okay, yeah, you did this. Yes, you failed, but you did it. It was a bold step. I gave it a try. So that is one of the things I'm proud of doing because someday I'll write a book about some of these stories because when I look back on a lot of the experiences I've had, it is the bold decisions that I took that actually turned out well. So it's one thing I'm proud of, and I look forward to taking more bold decisions that will yield great results.
Yeah, that's a really good one. So what's one truth you hold today that your younger person, like the younger self of yours, needed to hear?
Yeah, one truth that I hold today, they say when you they say the lie you tell yourself becomes your truth or becomes your reality, right? So one truth I hold today that maybe my younger self didn't know, was that what you asked?
Like you would tell your younger self to do.
Is the fact that nobody cares.
Nobody sends you.
Nobody cares. When I was young, growing up, right? I remember I used to have this mindset that, oh yeah, when we get there, there'll be somebody, I'll figure this thing out. But adulting, like they say, becoming an adult, going into the real life world, seeing things, doing things, trying to carry out tasks, you will know that actually nobody cares, But I mean, there are people, when I mean nobody, I don't mean absolutely nobody. There are people who are around there, but what I mean is that it is all on you to get things done. Nobody's going to help you to succeed. Success depends on you. Achievement depends on you. So it's what I mean by nobody cares is that how you get things done, how you want to, the goals you set for yourself, how you want to achieve these goals is all on you. So that nobody cares, I mean, is that nobody is there to do that, to have that vision with you. You're the only one that has this vision by yourself. So this is one lesson that I feel like I should have I should have known this thing way earlier than when I finally discovered, like, oh wow, it's a world of my own. I have to do this by myself. You understand? So I wish my younger self knew that early.
That's a really good one. So, well, this was a really great conversation, and
Yeah.
like we're about to end this conversation.
Yeah.
And what do you think that you want to pass on to like people who are viewing and listening? Like, what do you want to pass on to them to carry on?
Yeah, to all the viewers out there, one takeaway from this show, if I'm to call it that, podcast, is be yourself, be authentic, be you. There is nobody like you, and there is nobody that will do it like you. You know, I always preach to my peers: don't follow the crowd. Do your thing. Do yourself. That thing that you are scared of doing because you don't know what they are going to think or say. It's that thing that makes you who you are. Yes, you are scared of what people are going to say. However, you should remember that people will remember you for that. People will judge you based on that. So whether you're doing what they want you to do or not, right? You are still yourself. So authenticity is one aspect that I feel like a lot of young people have lost that these days. So the takeaway from this show today is what? Is be authentic. Even like what we talked about earlier on about the struggles of being an African or from an African descent. I always tell people that is one of the biggest lies that we have grown up to know. At the end of the day, like I said about being authentic and being yourself, no one can stop your shine. Your destiny is your destiny.
True.
No matter the systematic racism or whatever the system has against you, you are the only one that will determine your destiny. So go get what you want to get. Be yourself and remain confident in anything you do in this life. Never doubt yourself. Never doubt your capacity and your capability. The moment you have that doubt, you've already given the room to the devil. So be authentic, be confident, be resilient, and go get what you want.
So, sweeties, you have heard it from our guest today, Chika, and he has said, like, be authentic, live true to yourself, and live well. Don't go against what you think is right. Do what you have to do because you are the key to your own prosperity. So, yeah, this is the end of our conversation today, and thank you guys for listening. Have a good day.
Thank you.